You, as many investors, are afraid that the stock market won't have your back when it's time for retirement, especially with this continued volatility. Today, my guest, Josh Plave, is going to talk to us on how he helps investors use commercial real estate to de risk their portfolio and build a better future. All that and more coming up.
Welcome to the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing Podcast, your source for real-world strategies focused on creating long-term wealth, cash flow, and financial freedom through real estate. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful real estate investors and thought leaders, we provide you the tools to succeed and to reach the lifestyle you always wanted. And now, your host, Dwaine Clarke.
Hello and welcome to the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing Show. This is your host, Dwaine Clarke, and today my guest is Josh Plave. Josh is a multifamily real estate investor and founder of Wall to Main. Josh, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and how you doing, my friend?
Good, Dwayne. Thanks for having me. That intro is basically a hit list of all the best people in the industry, so I'm really honored to be here.
Yeah, and I was really, it was, pleasure having those people as well, especially you as well, to kind of learn about your story and how you can be able to help our audience and kind of just educate everyone on, building a better future through real estate. So I really appreciate that. But for the people who are not familiar with you, can you kind of take us through your background, how you got started in real estate?
Yeah, so my background originally wasn't, real estate. I don't come from a real estate family, but I did have an eye kind of for investing at an early age. I specialize in retirement accounts, and we'll get into that. But basically, I opened my first Roth IRA when I was 16 years old. I did that kind of at the suggestion of my grandfather and my mother, who were both CPAs, and they said that I should take whatever I had earned that summer, working as a camp counselor, and put it into a Roth IRA, get investing. I put it in, to some mutual funds, stuff that I understood, and I kind of just invested from there, and I started contributing to it. And then fast forward about 10 years from then, and my grandfather and my mother, unfortunately, both passed away. And what that did actually was it left me with the retirement accounts of a baby boomer and a member of the greatest generation. It wasn't a life-changing amount, but it was enough that I knew that I needed to be a good steward of, everything they'd earned, preserve their legacy, and make sure that I was kind of taking my sisters and I through the process of understanding what we could and couldn't do with the accounts. And so I ultimately realized I wanted control over my investments. I realized that I could do that through real estate. So I kind of just dove in as much as I could, did a kind of a self-taught curriculum, I like to call it, the podcast thing, reading books, doing as much as you possibly can to educate yourself thoroughly, and eventually just kind of settling on, one or two types of real estate to focus on.
Yeah, that's definitely very key, and that's kind of what really inspired me about your story, because I talk to a lot of younger investors through our meetup groups and a lot of educational platforms, and just kind of talking about kind of the legacy of money, and how of course you told me right before the show that you're adding to your family down in as you just moved, and it's very important as we move forward. We're thinking about the next generation, and fortunately for your parents and your grandparents had the foresight to say, start investing early, learning about financial literacy, and then now you take it to the next level of investing into commercial real estate, which we'll dive into a little bit more deeper later on. But can you kind of talk about like what you're currently working on? You mentioned that you're doing multifamily real estate. So what's your portfolio looking like, and also the markets you're investing in, and why did you like those markets, and kind of give us kind of a rundown of your criteria list?
Sure. Yeah, I basically, we look at larger multifamily properties, so somewhere in the range of 90 to 250 units, class A, B, C, value add opportunities essentially. And so what we do there is we look for things, as I mentioned, across the Southeast. So we have properties in Texas. We hold some shares in a property in Memphis, and we've got some stuff under contract in Florida as well. I love these markets because there are growing trends of people who are moving south. They're trying to seek lower state income taxes potentially. They're seeking warmer weather, better way of living potentially. And so they're seeing great amounts of growth. We're seeing great opportunity for assets that were built in the 70s and 80s that maybe haven't been looked after for the last 10 to 20, 30 years. We can go in and essentially uplift those, take them from a distressed kind of deferred and ignored property and move them into something that not only we can be proud of and generate returns for our investors, but something that is great for the tenant, something that they can bring their family home to and be proud of a place that they live in.
Absolutely. And I know that you do a lot of talking education and as far as kind of, 401ks and many people who are listening to this may not even understand the concept. Their mindset is like, you invest, you have your company and you're investing in stocks and bonds and things like that. And that's kind of like where it cuts off of. Can you kind of talk about the process of de-risking by mixing your portfolio and investing in commercial real estate like you're doing? And it's kind of break it down in kind of a really simple terms that you can be able to use like your 401k, convert over to a self-directed IRA and invest in real estate and really get control of your retirement.
Yeah, the reason I like to use that phrase, de-risking, is I did a little study kind of comparing the stock market versus multifamily. I took a look at things from the last 30 years, so since 1990. And since then, multifamily as a whole has been about 58% less volatile than the S&P 500. It's even been more steady than long-term treasury bonds. And so I knew that if I was able to move retirement accounts over to multifamily, it would just provide nice steady returns. You're not going to see deep fluctuations up and down. So it's a nice reassuring feeling. So essentially what you can do is you can take any retirement account you have, whether it's an IRA, a 401k, 403b, thrift saving plan, any kind of structure, and you can actually invest those into virtually anything you want. It's not just real estate. It's not just stocks and bonds. You can invest in cryptocurrency, gold, all kinds of stuff. I personally just go into real estate. I mean, that's what I know best, and that's what I try to help people with. But you're really not limited. So you can take any of these accounts and move them into really essentially two different types of accounts. There's the self-directed IRA, and everybody's eligible for that. And then you can also move it into a solo 401k. And that one, you need to have some self-employment income to sponsor that. And it's got some nice tax deferred benefits that you can actually make use of when investing in multifamily. So there's multiple ways you can go about it. There's some checkbook control accounts that you can pursue. Those provide a lot of flexibility and give you the opportunity to really take full control over your account. But there's a lot of flavors and a lot of different things to educate yourself on.
For people who are first thinking about investing in real estate, the first thing that comes to their mind is, single family, flipping a house and things like that. You specializing in multifamily, can you kind of talk about the difference, or there's many benefits of investing into larger commercial real estate, in particular multifamily. Can you talk about the advantages of investing in, a larger, property or a syndication compared to just you doing it on your own, like a single family?
Yeah. So one of the reasons I love multifamily is because you can leverage your asset or your investment, and you can really amp up your returns. You're not investing in an actual, just the property. You're investing in the underlying business. And so, you're making sure that you're connecting with an operator who knows what they're doing. When I first started in real estate, I didn't know what I was doing. I knew that if I bought a property, if I tried to flip it or I tried to be the landlord myself, I probably wouldn't be as successful as somebody who's been doing this for a while. And so I wanted to make sure that I was pairing with partners who really were going to, take control of my investment for me and make sure I was getting the best possible return. Now, when it comes to retirement accounts and the reason that I landed on multifamily, that mainly stems from the fact that with retirement accounts, you actually cannot be actively in control of the investment that your retirement account makes. And so you need to find some sort of an investment that is passive. And if you do want to go into single family homes, you can buy a single family home. It's likely there are ways you can do it with leverage, but you most likely have to do it in cash. But you can't actually go and fix the toilets. You can't sweep the floors. That's considered sweat equity because your retirement account is going to benefit from your actions. And that's not permissible by the IRS. And so you need to actually have a property manager take care of everything for you. And so you need to find a passive investment in general, no matter what, when it comes to your retirement accounts. And so that's why I kind of ended up on multifamily, because you can be a passive investor all day long in multifamily. Someone else can take your capital and they can put it to good use in a pool of other funds and really leverage into a property that you personally would not have been able to take down yourself. And it gives you that opportunity to really focus on other things, focus on what you do best, and make sure that you're using somebody else who knows what they're doing.
Absolutely, yeah. And then you had mentioned kind of syndications for some people who are not kind of familiar with that term. And then I know just on just like a high level overview of you being a passive investor and investing into a large, like with a sponsor that does all the work for you. Can you kind of go like just a basics for people who are not familiar with that term as well?
Yeah, absolutely. A syndication is essentially just it's group investing. It's a bunch of people coming together, pooling their funds together, and being able to buy a larger property than they could just by themselves. And
Awesome.
so it's considered a syndication whenever somebody else is running, they're in charge of your investment without any control from you. So if you come in as a passive investor, it's considered a limited partner, and you're limited in the fact that you don't actually have any decision in what's going on in the property. You don't have to control it, so you don't have any of those responsibilities, but you also don't have any decision-making power. Somebody else is in control of your investment. It's the same as if you were investing, let's say, in mutual funds and everything. The difference there is that it's just a little more illiquid. But basically, it's group investing where somebody else is in control of your investment.
Yeah, and it's definitely a really good option, especially for the stuff that you're talking about as, people are looking for to de-risk it and get out of the stock market or at least, balance their portfolio in some way. So I really appreciate you sharing that. To kind of learn a little bit more about you, I know we had talked for a few minutes before we started recording. Can you talk about like a typical workday for you? And do you in particular have any special morning routines?
Yeah. So the interesting thing of getting into real estate is it was my ability to really tap into who I am and the type of personality that I am. Can I, generate the right kind of, effort and mindset to get myself going every single day. And one of the things that really helped me early on, it was the Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
love that.
so yeah, I had never, I was never an early morning person. I was never someone who had a lot of, the only structure I had in my day was, the time I had to show up at work. And now I'm working for myself and I have to kind of set some more guidelines and routines. I'm someone who really likes habit and routine and structure.
Hmm.
And so waking up every morning, meditating a bit. I never thought I would actually be meditating, but it really helps me quite a bit. Helps me be very grateful for everything I got. Really open my mind up to what I need to do for the rest of the day. I read, I journal, I make sure that I plan out the rest of the day. And one of the other great habits I've started is using a planner. I realize that the days where I feel great in the morning and I start working on some stuff, but I kind of don't really have any direction and I haven't blocked out my day, it starts to kind of fizzle out. And that drive that I had early in the morning, I don't know the next thing I'm going to do. There's always got to be a next thing. And so I like to now block out my day, know exactly what hours I'm going to be working on certain things, and work around certain appointments. And that's really given me the ability to amp up my productivity.
Awesome. And as far as kind of like the tools of like the journaling and the planning, do you use any other tools like any electronic or any other systems or tools to kind of manage your time to make it more productive or even with your team?
Yeah, I mean, I myself, it sounds really weird, but I actually went back to paper planners. I've used Google Calendar because I'm in the Google ecosystem, and so I have everything centrally located there. But I started using these. It's called the High Performance Planner. I keep it
Oh
right
yeah,
next
that's a
to my
good
desk.
one. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and so I bought 6 months of them at a time, and there's like I think there's like 6 books, or like 12 months or something like that. So I bought 6 books, and I basically fill it out every single day. What my plans are for the day. It asks me great questions every single day. It's the same ones every day, but it puts me in the right mindset. And so I never thought I'd use a paper planner, but it's been pretty game changing for me.
Absolutely, yeah. Many of the guests that I talked to, they use that particular planner, but they always have some system and process. And the reason I like asking these questions because people are trying to model your success and kind of get into it. You have to kind of control your morning, or at least have some type of control over your day, so you can be able to say, these are my priorities. Even if you're working a W-2 and you want to achieve a certain goal, that you kind of have some focus and some guidance. So I think this is really good hearing from other successful people and how they do it, so they can be able to mimic it for their success as well. So I appreciate you sharing that. And lastly, you had mentioned it as well. Just right when I asked you the first question regarding gratitude, and that's something that I wake up and I just I do every day, and I'm grateful for my family and all that stuff. But what about for you? What are you most grateful for?
I'm most grateful for everything that that this. It sounds odd centering my life around my job, and I really, really don't. I really try hard to not make it, everything about my existence. But what it's allowed me to do is exist. I like to call it existing in Monday to Friday. I don't have to go and try to do everything on Saturday to Sunday. I don't have to jockey with everybody at the grocery store. I don't have to. One of my whys is being able to ski Monday through Friday, and being able to avoid crowds wherever I go. And so, yeah, I'm really grateful for the opportunities that multifamily and real estate has provided me in just the flexibility in life. We've got a daughter on the way, and so I'm really excited for, I've essentially been building all of this to make sure that I have time for her, and I can be there for her in all those big moments, because I absolutely need to be there for those moments. So I'm very grateful for these opportunities that I have.
Absolutely. Yeah, very well said. And as far as kind of how we get in contact with you, of course, we'll always have the contact information in the show notes and send out in our newsletters and our networks. But how do we get in contact with you, Josh?
Yeah, if you'd like to learn some more about using your retirement accounts when it comes to multifamily, I've got a great set of resources for you at fall2main.com. And I've got all kinds of videos and text-based education for you. I also am offering a free PDF. It's called the Top 10 Tips and Tricks when investing in multifamily with your retirement account. And I kind of give folks the things that you need to look out for and the ways you can get around them and really maximize your accounts.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Again, like I said, it was a great discussion, learn more about you. Congratulations to you and your family, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Thank you so much, Josh.
Thanks a lot, Dwayne.
All right, take care, my friend. Hey there, this is Dwaine Clarke, your host of the Wealth Through Real Estate Investing Show. I want to thank you again for tuning in and hope you're enjoying this valuable content. While I got you for a quick minute, I wanted to send you an invitation to join our growing investor community. It's called the Passive Investors Club. It's a group of like-minded individuals like you who are seeking financial freedom and to build true wealth through passive investing in commercial real estate. We take a totally different approach to investing that is opposite that is pushed by the financial advisors and what we see in the mainstream media. We like to invest in real assets that we can touch and understand and that are not subject to the wild swings of the financial markets. We don't want to be part of the herd who pursues the traditional route, leaving our financial future to Wall Street. So if you're interested in joining our group and to sharing resources and opportunities, then go to passiveinvestorsclub.com/join. Joining the club is completely free and there's no obligation. And all our members receive our free Passive Investors course along with tons of resources and content. So again, passiveinvestorsclub.com/join.